How can you supercharge your 401k? I'm here to give you some ideas. My name is Aubrey, and on this channel I talk about personal finance and how you can make your first million. Now, our 401k, or just investments in general, are generally invested very carefully with stocks, bonds. Do you want to stay domestic? You should have some international. Maybe you need some gold in there. All these different areas in case one goes down, the other one will go up, and sort of keep your portfolio balanced and level. And this is a fine investment strategy, and a lot of financial advisors recommend this type or this style of investing. But is there a way to supercharge your 401k or supercharge your portfolio? I'm here to say yes, there are. And you should be aware of this, but at the same time, also be aware that there are some potential downsides. This is something I wish I had learned many years ago when I was first starting to invest. I tried to pick and choose just different funds, some of these bonds, some international, some domestic, some large cap, some small cap, just sort of a cornucopia, all kinds of things. But what I really wish is someone would have sat me down and said, look, it's not just diversify portfolio and you get your 10% return. If you really want to grow aggressively, if you really have a stomach to be able to take some of the downs in order to get some of the highs, here are some things you can do. So no one ever did that for me, but I want to do that for you. And you can then make a choice. There are bigger returns out there if you can stomach the risk. What this all comes down to, and financial advisors are going to hate this advice, if you want to grow as fast as the stock market is growing, the best way to do that is to invest in all stocks. One of the reasons this is not popular, if we go through a rough economic time, that tends to really depress the stock market, and cash and bonds will help to hold up your portfolio during that time. But the downside is that you will not get the returns as the years go by that the stock market is getting. And in a sense, you're missing out. So there's really three main things to think about. The first is, what is your risk tolerance? If you're the type that's logging into your account every time the market goes down and looking at how your value has gone down and worrying when it's going to come back up, then this is probably not a good strategy for you. You need to be invested in those bonds and cash, because that's what's going to help you relax. That's what's going to help you sleep at night and not sell your investments. One of the great tests to determine if you have a high tolerance for risk, or if you can stomach the ups and downs of the market, is during the pandemic. We had the stock market crash in March of 2020. And what was your reaction? If you were okay with that, and if you saw that as an opportunity, then probably an aggressive all-stock portfolio is more up your alley. Secondly, think about, what is your goal? If you're really looking for your investments to be smooth and steady, and you are really counting on them being there and don't really care so much if they're getting you market returns or not, if they're getting you that 10% every year or that 11% or that 9% every year, but you are more concerned with the value of your account not going down and having a good chunk available pretty much at any time, then your goal is more stability. But if you're just looking for performance, if you just want to capture those 10% per year gains, or 12% or 14% year over year gains, and you don't care so much if the market is down and then up and then down and then up, and that volatility and seeing your account value go up and down, then you're probably in a good position to want to go to all stocks. And number three, if you've made it this far, is you want to look at what options are available for an all-stock portfolio. You can go with something that's the S&P 500 index that basically matches that, and you'll get those 10% returns per year on average. But you could also look at small caps, which are not the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is large caps. You can look at a small cap fund that's even more aggressive. You could also look at a growth fund. A large cap growth fund will take some of the best performing stocks that are in the S&P 500, put them into a fund, and that's what you invest in. The advantage is that it has the potential to grow a lot in a relatively short amount of time. But the downsides is it can also fall quite a bit very quickly at an alarming rate sometimes, and you just have to hold on. In an investment portfolio where you're holding ETFs, exchange traded funds, here are a few that you can look at. If you want the S&P 500, which is a solid index to invest in, you can take a look at VOO. That's Vanguard's S&P 500 index. If you want large cap growth, SPYG and VIOG. If you want a small cap ETF, that's mostly all small capitalization companies, companies that are smaller, you can look at VIOG and VBR. A lot of this comes down to what your mindsets are. What are your core beliefs about the stock market? If you believe the stock market always goes up, and even when it goes down, it always comes back and goes up more. If you believe that when the stock market goes down, that's a buying opportunity. If you believe that more risk means more reward, if you have a long time horizon before you're going to need the money from your investments, I'm talking over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years away, that you can accept the risk that these investments may go down before they go back up, and have the ability to wait it out. If those mindsets ring true for you, then going with a portfolio that's mostly all stocks is probably more for you. So just be aware that these choices are available to you, and they will dramatically affect, over time, what your investment returns are. Investing a lot of times is a compromise. If you want stability, you're going to invest this way, but you're going to sacrifice returns. If you want returns, you want performance, that's fine, but you're going to sacrifice stability, and you're going to take on risk. So which camp are you in? If you're more in the risk camp, and you're okay with that risk, and you're okay with that volatility, the account goes up, goes down, it goes up, then going to all stocks is probably for you. If this content was helpful for you, I invite you to subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll see you on the next video.